Ready?
Yes. Are you giving birth?
Oh, I was about to. I was going to give...
On camera?
Yeah, I'm giving birth to a movie Propcast episode. Right now, here it is. And it's The Notebook, baby, because... I don't know if you checked the calendar or if you're listening to this on release, but we are dangerously close to Valentine's Day. So I'll say it right now, and I'll make an addendum a little bit later in the podcast. But I did select this film, The Notebook, because I thought, like I said, it's Valentine's Day. I was feeling warm and fuzzy, and this to me, growing up, man, this came out in 2004. This was like the beginning of high school for me. So like all my little puppy love, little high school love, and little crushes were associated with this movie, right?
So all of your little crushes were associated. Like The Notebook was like the pinnacle Valentine's Day movie for you?
I don't know if it was the Valentine's Day movie for me, but I will say when it came out, I do remember it being like every girl's like, "Oh, we need to watch The Notebook. We have to watch that."
Okay, I agree with that. No,
yeah.
I remember there was a time where like The Notebook was like everyone wanted to be Noah and Allie. So I got you there.
Right.
Okay.
It was crazy huge, and obviously it took me a while to watch it because I was big, strong, masculine freshman in high school.
You're a what? You're a what?
A big, strong, masculine boy,
Okay.
and my masculinity was like, I don't watch films like that. And then eventually I did. And then I've since seen it just a whole bunch of times, just a whole lot. And
where did those muscles go?
Yeah, they're all gone. All my muscles have been disappeared. That's how it works. I don't know if you're listening and you're a man. I think you think you understand. All right, this is what is ingrained in society.
Oh, no.
I am the definition of masculinity.
Let's get this back on track.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway, The Notebook, Ryan Gosling, Rachel McAdams. I'm not going to say I loved this movie, period, but for some reason I always come back to it as like it's romance. It's a romance movie. There's drama.
Yes.
And to me that's like my mind does not drift anywhere else. Like if you say give me a love story movie, what are you thinking of? Like I mean it could be
Titanic, but
okay,
no, but
sick,
honestly,
bro.
no. It's Titanic, but then it's also The Notebook. Like if I hear love story movie, and it also depends how you're growing up, but like
Yeah.
I hear love story and immediately I think Titanic, The Notebook, and Cold Mountain. But I also know only like 10% of people on the planet have seen Cold Mountain.
This is the first time I've ever heard those words put together. And
really?
Yeah. Never. And mountains I didn't even know were cold until right now, but.
It's a Civil War movie. It's a long thing.
Wow.
So.
Okay, so you just like tragedy with your love.
No, it's just
like
how they make
ships
love movies.
sinking and
it's either
World
that
Wars.
or rom-coms. Like I could go with like Valentine's Day or Just Friends or Friends with Benefits.
Right. And to be fair, when I was thinking of a movie to do for this, obviously it would have made this a lot more fun to do a good rom-com. And I think I'm glad that we have so many at our disposal still. But initially, I was like, The Notebook, no brainer. Put it on the list. Let's do that for Valentine's Day.
So let me ask you this though: does the love part of the love story hit harder when it's paired with tragedy, or when it's paired with humor? Because when it's paired with humor, it's like ha ha ha. But when you have that real low, and then you come back up with that love afterwards, it might hit a little harder.
Right. I guess it depends on what, as a director or as a film company, do you want critical acclaim? Because you won't get it with a rom-com. You won't get critical acclaim with a rom-com. You got to have a little tragedy to get the critical acclaim. And
yes,
I think that's really the difference is it's a respectful, beautiful story if you're not doing the slapstick stuff. You know what I mean? Like you bring that around and it's immediately all of a sudden a bad movie, which I never really understood. I mean, I think you can find good qualities in a rom-com.
100%.
Yeah. It just sometimes they can take it over the top, but I don't think that should. I don't know. There's still beautiful moments. If you can strike a good balance, that's it. And I feel like this movie has come up in conversations that I've had with people who love movies about, like, if you ask what's your favorite rom-coms, what are the best rom-coms, I've heard people bring this up. And I'm saying
a rom-com?
Yes. Rom-com, the conversation of rom-com. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what
the calm
what calm means. Maybe
Yes.
maybe I don't want to spoil. I'm going to spoil the movie right now. Maybe I guess people dying is funny to you somehow. I don't know, but people's definition of calm could be different.
I don't think. Yeah, the calm definitely was not comedy for them. I don't even know what the calm. I was trying to make up something on the run, and there's nothing. No.
I immediately shut that down and say you need to put that to bed and send it off because it's not a rom-com. But it's very rom. But the calm, you maybe get a chuckle or two, but it's like it's not meant to be like
the calm got taken away by Allie's mom with the letters.
Ooh,
that's
Allie's mom. Don't even get me started on that woman. Okay, well, I guess we're into it right now. Before we get into a deeper dive, just to let everybody know, at Movie Propcast, you can find us on social media and search the Movie Propcast on YouTube. You can actually watch the full episodes. You can see our beautiful faces. And you can see, for some reason, mine's got a slight tint of green. I don't know what's going on. I'm a little under the weather. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you're feeling a little nauseous after a while.
It must be. Well, because I guess I don't know what it is with the lighting right now. It's because I'm trying to make the background pink. And again, if you're listening on audio, I'm so sorry. The background right now of my video is pink, and for some reason, it's making my face just a sickly green, and I do look like I'm about to vomit everywhere. So if you want to see that, head on over to our social media at Movie Propcast or our YouTube channel and subscribe. Okay, let's just get right into this. There's a couple of things I wanted to say about this movie after looking some things up and kind of there's some interesting facts before we dive in because this is pre-production stuff that I didn't know. That is kind of it would have taken this movie. Now, I don't know if it would have made it worse. It probably would have made it worse. I think the way that they did it, the casting, everything that the director, I think it's at its peak. It's hard to imagine it being better.
I don't know what could have made this movie better.
Right. For what it is, the story, yeah, I don't really I loved at the time. I mean, I didn't really appreciate it. Again, I was in high school. I was young. But not really knowing the actors in this movie, you know what I mean? Like Ryan Gosling wasn't a household name.
No, he was not.
Rachel McAdams, I think she did Mean Girls maybe at the time.
I feel like this was.
I got to look up Mean Girls. I'm pretty sure that was the only other thing at the time, at least in that general time frame. Yeah, same year. I don't know.
Same year. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was before or after, but I mean, well, it's either way. That year, it was really all I really knew of Rachel McAdams was. I think that's the girl from Mean Girls, but totally different movie. That's a 100%. Calm, less rom, more calm there. But I loved that the whole aspect. All the actors, obviously the older actors in this movie. James Garner, I've looked him up. Dude had a crazy career, and he's like a decorated war veteran. Like this guy,
I did not know that.
Unbelievable life and career of this guy, and him and Gina Rollins, which I found out was the director's mom. The director's mom, Nick Cassavetes. I'm gonna probably butcher that, but he was the director of the film. That's his mom, and I mean, she did very well in this movie. So, I know it's obviously like I'm directing this movie, kind of weird to go over to the casting directors and be like, "Hey, my mom wants to be in this movie. Can we do that?" Yeah. Like, you know.
She just really has been asking, and I just give her a small role.
Small role, right? Just one of the main four, even though they're all technically the same character. It's just different time periods.
No one will notice.
Right. Isn't that your mom, bro? No. Anyway, yeah, I think it's good as it is. But let me get back to these tidbits before we dive a little deeper into the movie. So the film rights to the Nicholas Sparks novel, because this is based on a Nicholas Sparks book, was acquired by New Line Cinema, who did create this movie. In 1996. And this movie came out in 2004. So they had these rights for a significant amount of time. They brought on a writer, and the script actually caught the attention of director Steven Spielberg.
I am so happy this movie went this way.
Right. So, yeah. In 1998, Steven Spielberg was like, what's that? What you got over there?
I can't imagine Spielberg doing does he have a love story on record that we know of?
I can't tell you one off the top of my head, other than like the little subplots in his movies. But I mean, like that's not love. That's not a love story.
No, I'm very glad this went this route.
Right,
the 8 years made a big difference. I feel,
and that's not even the weirdest part. So Steven Spielberg had the attention of Steven Spielberg, and he was sniffing around about this film. And he actually it was in his mind that if he was going to jump on board with this film, Tom Cruise as the lead character in 1998. So you're going to get Tom Cruise playing the role of Noah Calhoun, the role Ryan Gosling did. I don't know, man.
Tom Cruise. That's like 2 years after the first Mission Impossible, probably.
He was young. He was young.
That's a completely different film.
Yeah.
Like that's like prime action Tom Cruise. That's like Jerry Maguire Tom Cruise. Oh my God. Yeah, that's hard to think about.
It would have been really strange to see Tom Cruise in the lead role of this movie. And especially nowadays, looking back and being like, Tom Cruise, remember when he did The Notebook? Like that would just be, probably would have taken his career. Oh, he already did Mission Impossible, like you said. But his career probably would have gone totally different if he hits on this film. Okay, so a lot of things got kicked down the line. There were a lot of rewrites, people backing out of the film. Eventually, it did catch on, and it wound up going into development. I think it was like 2001, 2002. But one more thing, early in development of when they were actually like, okay, we're doing this, they had preliminary discussions, and it was basically all said and done. But other than signing the papers, George Clooney was going to play Noah Calhoun in this movie.
Okay, actually, I love that.
What?
Early 2000s George Clooney for me, like, I'm picturing him fresh off ER. George Clooney is still young. He was like the Bachelor of Hollywood at this point.
But he still kind of looks old. He doesn't I don't know.
He looks mature. So Ryan Gosling definitely had like the I'm fresh out of high school, young adult, not yet going to college look 100% down.
Right.
I'm just thinking of George Clooney being George Clooney in this movie. I'm not thinking about the setting, the time, or anything. I'm not thinking of any of that. I'm thinking of young George Clooney being what you had. Oh, that would have been nice for different reasons. It wouldn't have made sense.
Right.
But like he would have made a good second love interest for Allie.
Yeah, we definitely would not have been doing this film today on this podcast if it was George Clooney. I just think
you don't know. Come on, man.
George Clooney just
go back.
Yeah,
go back and look at 1998 George Clooney.
Look, I know he's a beautiful man, but that's still it's just it's a totally different feel. Also, the reason why it fell through with Clooney was because the older version of Noah was supposed to be played by Paul Newman. And Paul Newman's had an extensive career, and the reason it fell through was because George Clooney was watching old Paul Newman films from back when he was supposed to be around the same age that Clooney was playing in the movie, and he's like, "Bro, you're huge. You're Paul freaking Newman. Everyone knows what you look like when you were in your early 30s, late 20s. Everyone already knows what you look like. You look nothing like me. It just wouldn't work. People wouldn't be able to believe it. So George Clooney pulled. George Clooney backed out. That's what happened.
Wow."
And it's really strange.
Like that, all of the lightning struck at the right points to give us this movie.
Right.
That's
well,
insane.
and it sounds bad. I'm sure at the time they were like, dude, we could have had Spielberg. We could have had Tom Cruise. We could have had Clooney, Paul Newman. We could have had so much. And when they're making it, they're probably like, God, man, just imagine we could have had all these stars. And then they make it, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, like the chemistry is good. Like this is good.
Do we know who was up for Allie?
Yes, we do. I do. That's the other little tidbit. I don't know why I love like the who it could have been casting results. Okay, so they wanted whenever they were casting the Gosling role, the Noah role, and after all the people backed out, the director said they wanted someone unknown, which at the time Ryan Gosling for sure. I think he'd done one or two other things, nothing crazy, and quote, not handsome to portray Noah.
The first thing that popped in my mind was, holy crap, he's like handsome, but like boyishly handsome in this movie.
He's a beautiful man. And so I imagine being Ryan Gosling. That's like, so just real quick before you read your lines, just want to know, we want somebody that's like not relatively unknown. We think you are, and not handsome. I don't want you to be, and I'm looking at you. Can you read your lines? You're checking all the boxes for me, ugly. Like, what is that?
That's ridiculous.
Okay, anyway, moving on. They wound up obviously casting Gosling. They liked his energy. They liked the vibe he was giving off for the role of Noah. And a nationwide search was conducted to find the right actress to play Allie in this movie. Actresses who auditioned for the role included Jessica Biel.
Ooh.
Okay, no,
Okay,
maybe I can
okay,
see that. Jessica
okay.
Biel. Britney Spears?
I don't know how she acts.
She was in, I think, A Walk to Remember. She was in A Walk to Remember. She did that.
No,
she was in that movie.
that was
wasn't she?
Mandy Moore.
Oh, wasn't? No, I
Yeah,
thought Britney
that was-
Spears was in that.
No, that's Mandy Moore.
No, my God. Okay, but then I thought she was
Yeah.
in a movie. Never mind. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
No, Mandy Moore was A Walk to Remember. That's crazy. Like, Britney Spears has the look, but I don't know if she can act.
I don't know either. I'm glad they didn't go in that direction. She was obviously a huge megastar at the time for other
Yes.
reasons. Obviously, her singing career. Other ones, Ashley Judd, Rhys Witherspoon. Those are the other two.
Rhys Witherspoon, I'm convinced, could make anything work.
This would have been right up her alley. Like,
Yeah,
especially in
she-
her career, she's done movies similar. Like, you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
would have been right. They'd have checked
Like,
the box for sure.
Reese could do anything. I think she's already done roles like as like a Southern country belle female, like just the beautiful woman. I think she could have done this.
Yeah, she would have done well. Ultimately, they cast Rachel McAdams, and they said that it was just the chemistry between her and Ryan Gosling was the best. It was amazing.
Oh my god,
So they were
that
really
was- Yeah.
good. Anyway, that was it. I mean, that's the two things I wanted to. The pre-production stuff with all the people falling through was insane to me, and what could have been with the actors and actresses in this movie. But what did been was what happened in this movie. Obviously, you got Ryan Gosling, you got Rachel McAdams playing Noah and Allie, and again, the movie spans, I think, a 7-year window where they said, I think she's 17. I don't know how old. He might be a year older, maybe 18 or something when it starts. But it spans 7 years. And you know that because of a line later in the movie where, it goes through and things are, obviously, your heartstrings are pulled and stuff like that. And I should say the window of the past is 7 years. But there's obviously they bounce back and forth to modern day.
Yes.
And the 1940s, I think 45, I think is when it starts.
Yeah. Yes, because it was, what war was that? I can't. It's okay.
I don't know.
I just want to say, for a movie made in 2004, this honestly, it didn't feel that old. Like, it felt a little old, but like it didn't feel like almost 20 years old. Seeing like a young Ryan Gosling, I loved it because I'm just so used to what he is now. And Rachel McAdams looks exactly the same, and it's absolutely absurd.
Right.
She's always just been beautiful. So that was awesome.
Right.
So just knowing that this is just like a little time capsule of a movie that still holds up, like 20 years later, and I felt like this holds up completely.
Yeah, for sure. And what's crazy is the budget there was not a huge budget for this movie. And there really wasn't a lot. I think it was like 20 million or something, 20-something million, which is not crazy. But I mean, you're not doing crazy special effects or anything either. So it's not like we're doing a whole lot.
So you just actually remind me of a tidbit I looked up. So I was curious about I like casting locations, especially because so I've always had like a slight obsession with like willow trees and when they're doing the bike rides through the willows or whatever.
Yeah.
So this movie is supposed to take place in a fictional North Carolina town, but they decided to actually film in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
And when they're doing their little boat ride, he's rowing the boat before the rain, and they're going through all those swans.
So many. Real quick.
Many swans.
So many. Like an unnatural amount of swans. Like,
well, it is unnatural because those particular swans aren't native to that area. They bought some and raised them as chicks, I saw.
Wow.
And then, I don't know if it's all of them.
Right.
But I know that those swans were actually brought in for that scene.
That was ridiculous, by the way. I remember there being a scene where they were like, yeah, there's swans. You couldn't even see the water.
No.
They were just rowing through birds. Anyway.
They were rowing on birds.
Yeah. So, go ahead, continue. Yeah, we're in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, that's where they wound up doing the set. The house, I think, is there too, right? So
everything, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Even when she's in New York, that's a college in Charleston, South Carolina.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, it's I don't really remember them saying North Carolina or South Carolina, but you knew for sure it was in the South, obviously. Yes. Especially when you meet Allie's parents. My God. Yeah. They were just the stereotypical like Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. He literally looked
They just gave him a brown mustache, and that was it.
Yeah, it was interesting that whole scene. And,
I have to give Allie's dad a little bit of respect because in my mind there's two things that I had a lot worse. I thought Allie and I thought Noah had a much more toxic relationship because I remember them like fighting a lot off my memory. And I remember Allie's parents being worse. Allie's mom was bad. Allie's dad was relatively understanding. He was like, yeah, it's a summer relationship. He didn't want her with him.
Right.
But he also wasn't the worst person in the world. I thought he'd like kick Noah out and all this stuff. He was just like, I'll let it happen. It'll fizzle out.
Yeah, the mom was obviously much more resistant to what was happening. And later on you find out it's because she had experienced that, right? And yes. I don't know, what do you think it was? Like, do you think it was because she was jealous or she just wanted to shut that down so she didn't have the same...
She wanted what was best for her daughter and went about it the wrong way. Because in her mind, she got everything a person could want, and she wanted her daughter to have everything that her daughter ever wanted. So she was like, if you stay with this man, you're getting... Like, this is what happened to the man I could have been with. He is working on not a coal mine, but like a gravel mill or whatever.
Yeah, dude, I feel bad for that guy because he was. You can tell he was already like a schlub back when she was young. So her parents didn't agree with it and everything like that. Yeah. But the fact that he's still shoveling dirt and coal. Yeah. And 25 years later, my God, give the guy a raise, like a promotion.
I think that's her point, is like, you will be stuck in this life. Also, her going to see that man, if he turns around and sees her once, that could turn his life upside down. That's torture.
Dude,
why?
Okay, there was a scene he did. He looked over and was like, and maybe he doesn't recognize her 25 years.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But like, imagine being like, yo, listen, and imagine if there was like a deleted scene where he's like, listen, I see you come here every week. Get out of here. All right, I don't want to see you anymore.
Like, what if he's hoping she gets out and talks to him? Like, she's ruining this man's life.
Right. He's not. Yeah, it's all just. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Okay. So, yeah, I think we can agree the mom is obviously the linchpin in all of this. She's the issue. Not the issue, but like, without the mom, I mean, they probably just. They keep the relationship going and they probably make it work somehow. I mean, whether at the detriment of Allie's future and career, and well, do women even have careers in that time? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's like what would have been the worst thing if she just hung around a little longer? You know what I mean? It's like, you're still got mommy and daddy's money. Like, what? Yeah. I don't know. Why wouldn't you just want your daughter to be happy?
Bring Noah in. Let him into the family business.
Right. Guess what? Instantly, once he's in, he's not a peasant anymore. Huh? How about that? Like,
crazy idea. Idea.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to be great parents, okay?
I hope so.
We're just going to be like, you're adopted now. You're in the family. It was our first date, sir. No, it's interesting that how this all played out. Obviously, it's a movie, but it's very strange. I just want to bounce around because I took a lot of notes. Obviously, we're going to get to the draft here pretty soon. But I took some notes throughout this movie, and it has no effect really on the draft picks, all the props and the memorabilia and stuff from this movie. Right out the gate, in the beginning of the film, I wrote down death or date. How does this tactic hold up in 2022?
That is my third note. It's just like, why was he so intense? Like, that man is absolutely like, what? You just jump up on a Ferris wheel and you're just like, I'm going to just jump in the middle of your date. I'm going to sit here. Don't worry about it. Oh, I have to get off. I'm going to dangle myself.
Okay. So listen, there was a line that was obviously crossed. And I feel like when he locked in, right? It was love at first sight. He saw her. He's like, I need to know more about this girl, right? Fine. Yeah. I can believe that. I can even believe the audacity to run and jump onto the chair and sit in and just be like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never seen anybody like you. I want to know more. I want to go on a date with you.
We have to backtrack. You would believe that you believe that in suspending belief for a movie, that in a movie a person would do that.
We're talking 1940s. Okay, we're not talking like you're not thinking about the repercussions. There's not. I doubt there's security. You know what I mean? It's like you're just kind of
okay.
Put yourself in the 1940s and then be like, you could pretty much get away with whatever you want.
Okay.
Where I draw the line is, A, why is the dude stopping the nuisance at the top?
Yes.
Bring him back around, stop at the bottom, get him off.
Clearly knows everybody involved in this situation.
Right.
So I don't understand that.
And so the Ferris wheel stops with the issue at the top. Very strange tactic. Maybe he knew that this was his game plan. Maybe this is his shtick. He does this all the time. I don't know. But I draw the line at the dangling your body over, and it's either go on a date with me or I'm literally going to die here.
Yes.
That's where it's like, okay,
that's
dude.
an immediate no. That is a red flag. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, like, watching this as an adult and watching this as a kid are different.
Right.
Watching this as a kid, I'm like, oh, that's so romantic. Not romantic, but like, that's
It's
awesome.
a bold
He
move,
likes
Cotton.
her. Yeah. Like, oh man, maybe I should try that because I like a girl. Maybe that'll work. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, get out of there.
Right.
That kid is clearly dangerous. You should have, like, if Allie's parents saw that and then said don't date him, I don't blame them one bit.
Oh, for sure. Especially if they got word. Like, somebody probably told them, you know what I mean? They probably knew. It just wasn't in the dialogue. They were probably like, that's that crazy boy from the Ferris wheel. And then you'd been like, yeah, for sure. Definitely don't date that weirdo. Anyway, that's a strange tactic, and I'm just trying to imagine somebody doing that in modern day.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of modern day, did you ever ride a Ferris wheel with a young lady as a child? As a young
As
adult?
a child, yes. No. I think, yeah. I mean, there was carnival or circus, carnival, whatever came into town quite a bit. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I mean, I did the Ferris wheel shtick. Yeah.
You don't sound.
It wasn't a memorable experience, obviously. Clearly, but I would not doubt. I mean, I've gone on quote unquote dates.
Yeah.
But when you're that young, I mean, we're talking high school.
Yeah.
Like early high school. It's like, am I? You know, I don't know. It's just little crushes and stuff. So. I can't place it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, I got you.
What about you?
Oh yeah. So in my town, like the Fireman's Carnival would come the first week of summer every year. So it would line up with the end of school. So it was like a big deal for me and one of my best friends to take our last exams, and then instead of taking the bus, because the bus would take you home, we would walk from school into town, hang out, and then the carnival. And I remember having like a couple of young dates. Like I remember not being anywhere near like Noah. Like I remember one date I was afraid to hold hands with a girl.
Yeah.
On the Ferris wheel, I was like sweating.
That's what I'm saying.
Bullets holding hands with a girl.
When you're watching this movie as a youngster going through puberty or just like getting into like just even speaking to girls, you're like, man, that's confidence. I want some of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I had
man,
none
imagine
of that.
doing that. Like, no way. That's crazy. So, Noah had the confidence, right? He had the confidence, and, I mean, that gets the girl sometimes. And in this case, you know, she had never seen anything like it, the audacity of this young man.
You know, part of me thinks that was a turnoff for her. It was the movie that set them up. The him just sitting there and not being pushy and just being like understanding.
Well, yeah, because the next scene, he just sees her walking down the street. Like they don't actually go on the date. Like you know what I mean?
No.
He has to then start it up again. She leaves and it's probably like, yo, that guy is weird. So
yes,
yeah.
I feel like the movie set it up in her seeing another side of him, because I don't think that Ferris wheel, it showed her intensity, but it was not what she wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
At least that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for her character. If she was drawn to that,
no, I think
that's a whole other story.
I think you're right. I think you hit on the head there. That's definitely. I don't think that anybody in their right mind's like, yeah, that guy that threatened suicide. I'm gonna date that guy. I'm gonna marry that guy. So moving down, I just she comes over to the house. Obviously, they at that point after the date, they're all over each other, right? So they're hanging out all the time. It's summer, it's like every day they're seeing each other. She comes over to the house and sees Noah reading poetry and all that stuff on the porch. Yeah. And the dad, I don't know. This is just a thing I wrote down. I don't know if this could be the first time this has ever happened. I'm not sure, but we're talking 1940s. Noah's dad, possibly the inventor of pancakes for dinner. Okay.
Oh, maybe. I just want to take a minute.
He's an American hero if he did that.
I forgot his dad was a part of this movie. I loved that character. Like, Noah's dad was probably my favorite person in this entire movie.
Awesome dad. Yeah. He was awesome, for sure.
He was incredible. But yeah, pancakes for dinner, definitely Noah's dad invented it.
I think he definitely invented it, and I really think he needs like a plaque in like the Food Hall of Fame or something. He's an American hero for pancakes for dinner. Unheard of at the time.
There was not a scene where I wasn't rooting for Noah's dad. When his dad was in the scene, I loved it every single time.
I did not love the sudden passing of the dad. That was
that was
glossed over. It was like, dad's dead, now you got the house. They just had to get him out of the house. So when Rachel McAdams or when Allie shows back up, the dad's not just lingering around. But yeah, I mean the fact that he was the one that he sold his own home, right? While Noah's off to war, he comes back and he sold his own home because he knew his son wanted this house for his entire life, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like, this is it. I got you. And then he was like, obviously, I'm moving in with you. Like, I mean, geez, it's a huge house, right? So
yeah.
So I thought that was awesome that hey, like you said, the dad, amazing dad to do all that, and that house wound up getting made to the specifications that him and Allie set in their just really awkward experience in the first time in that house when it was really run down and grungy.
So just to real quick, like just glossing over this, I almost forgot, like, the movies like this remind me of things that there's things you just don't feel anymore as a grown-up. This is going to sound sad real quick.
Okay.
But, like, do you remember those, like, summers as a kid, like, hanging out with your friends? Like, I didn't go to, like, a watering hole and stuff like that.
Right.
But just being outside and hanging out, and you had your crush and your friend and your friend's crush, and just, like... That that montage hit me for a minute.
It's like just when they say it's summer, it's summer. They're doing the kids will be kids. You're not in school. You're literally just hanging out all the time, just going wherever you want on your bikes. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, because summers are not the same. For anyone under the age of 20 listening to this, summers are not the same.
No, summers are just they're also fall, and they're also winter, and they're also spring. So it's like there.
So that montage was something very special to me. I was actually happy to see that. The house, that first that was awkward, but that is how that time goes. That's net. Honestly, that was a pretty accurate representation of what probably 90% of people go through in that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
life.
so obviously, when you're an adult and you're watching it, you're like, this is dragging and it's uncomfortable. But you think back. I mean, like that's it's their first time. It's like this is it, and especially 1940s. It's like whoa, it's
Yes.
Very strange that they were just standing 20 feet apart.
I was going to bring that up.
Making direct eye contact, like unlocked eye. They were just like, I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy.
It was, but it felt like probably, like it didn't feel too far-fetched.
No, it was definitely believable, but it was weird that I was in the room when that was happening. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
I didn't belong there. I did not belong there whatsoever.
Send me somewhere else. Like, let me do a little, like, look away, and then, like the Titanic. Yes. You know what I mean? They did like the little steamy window, and then it was next scene. We're out of here.
Also, very not believable would be the Titanic on the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Like you have those.
All right. I was just talking about the window, but I wanted to be somewhere else.
Of course. Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was really beautiful though. Before all that went down, or was it after? I don't even know. When he said that I'm getting this house, like he had the confidence to say, this is it. Someday I'm going to get this. Whatever it takes, I'm getting this house. And she wanted to say in it, I thought that was like, it. Obviously, you get the warm and fuzzies. It's like, and especially for him, you're imagining him in that scenario. You're like, this is something that obviously he's really like all in on this relationship, and he's like they love each other, right? And for the confirmation from her when he's talking about the house, and she's like, "Do I get a say?" And he's like, "You want to say?" And then she's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh yeah, all right." Like,
and the thing is, especially in that time, because in the 1940s, people were getting married at their age.
Oh yeah.
So that's different from like us at 16 and 17 talking about marriage versus them. Because for us, that's still like 10 years out. For them, that's a year or two out.
Right. So yeah, it's definitely not that far away. So it's not far fetched that like they could get at the end of summer. Hey, we're gonna get hitched, buy this house. Crazy to think, but back then, like you said, it's like the younger. They were. I mean, they were getting married at like freaking. She was 17, I think, at the time. So it wasn't even like. Yeah. It was very, very, very young.
Very
could have happened at any time. But I just thought that she put her input on the house, and that sticking with him.
I loved that
for the entirety. No matter what happened, he knew that it was over after sending them the letters and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hadn't heard from her in years. He went to war.
He went to war and came back and still built
and
this
was
house.
Like, I'm still doing it, bro. I don't even care. Like this is, and that was. I'm sure that was all he was thinking about when he was gone at war. Was like, even though he knew before he left, I wasn't getting any responses, any kind of anything from her. But when I come back, I'm getting that house. Well, I'm sure he didn't think he was going to get the house, but the dad kind of hooked him up, like we said.
Yeah.
But the fact that he got that house, he was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be exactly how I want it. But my thing was, how lucky to take that photograph.
Oh, yeah.
And get it put in the newspaper.
Yes.
Pretty
I mean, I don't think he even cared at that point. Like, that just happened.
Right. He was super cash. He wasn't, like, running to the presses for it. But, yeah.
Yeah.
They were excited to see an old house get restored.
The building of that, where did he stay? Because that house was in terrible condition.
Oh, he probably stayed in it, bro. What do you mean? You just put a little
which
sleeping
is
bag.
crazy. He had that one that did not take, that took years to redo. That took years to redo. The house was in terrible condition with mold. He should have died while remodeling it.
Asbestos. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I guess, but that's it. It seemed like that was all he had going on, right? So it was like day one. That's it. You're probably cleaning up a space for you to live. You know what I mean? So it's probably one night of just gross nonsense. But once you get in there and dig a little, clean a little room out, you got a little cubby, then you go to town on the rest of the house. But it's very impressive. The dude I'd call Ryan Gosling any day to come over and remodel my house.
My first thought when he was done was like, yeah, they're making a big deal about him being poor, but the man's got a mansion at this point. Like, he's got a gigantic house. He's got a big plot of land. What does it matter what his career is? Like, he's set at this point.
Right. But the parents at the time, they were like, there's no way this guy's doing this. So, like, they couldn't have known war was coming. He was going to go off and you know, that was going to be that. He'd come back and then have the funding to actually do that. I'm sure that they came back and saw the house, which the mom does wind up showing up at the house. She makes no mention of how beautiful it is.
Not at all.
But she's probably like in the back of her mind, like, oh, this little guy, man, this guy, he really did it, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, speaking of the mom, so their first night in the house leads to their eventual first breakup. So like I said, I first thought that they were a lot more toxic. That breakup was such a roller coaster. Like, first it was, I love you, we can't break up. Then it was him saying, you know, I'm not good for you. Then she goes to, I hate you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then she goes back to, wait, we're not actually doing this. It was
that
just,
was
I
sad,
got whiplash.
Dude. That was tragic.
Yeah.
That was sad. That was hard to watch. Like,
I got whiplash watching all of those emotions at once. Because
you know, and this goes back to Gosling and McAdams' chemistry and what they saw. Because that scene was played out, I think, fantastic. It is. It's like, it's young love, but it's like they do really love each other. But then he realizes, especially when he's in the house hearing the conversation, then mother just literally calling him trash. You know what I mean? He's like, you can't be with this guy. So he gets out to leave. Understandably so. Like, at that point, you're broken, bro. You're like, I'm not going to get accepted by this family. And you know, like,
the look on his face, that actually hurt me.
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. It did. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, dude. It is like, he played that very well. And it's like, anybody who's been in anything similar to that, like, you got to know, like, it sucks because you know you really want to be with that person, but you're not getting validated by the people who she cares about the most. You know, outside of you, you want to be in, and you just, like, I don't know, would he want? I'm sure if he had the chance, he could plead his case, but they weren't even listening to him. They're like, just sit down over there. We'll talk. You know, but he leaves. I don't know. Maybe if he hung around, there could have been a more dialogue, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah. But that was really the only major point of, like, I would say toxicity. Like, other than that, they were actually a normal couple.
Right. They got in fights, but it's really just like arguments over dumb things, and that's a relationship. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah. So Doyle, 7 years go by. She sees the picture, faints, is engaged at this point, going to get married. Is it acceptable for her to go see him again?
Acceptable. Like, that's a dangerous word.
It's very, very true. But like her mom said it right. She said you knew what you were doing when you were coming here.
Yeah, and she did, for sure. And it's,
in her mind, do you think she was just going to try to check up, or was she trying to see if something was still
I don't
there?
think she was going back to hook up with him. I don't think that was like, I'm going to go make love to this man. But she probably is like, yeah, he made the house, right? He made the house exactly. Granted, the picture was black and white, but I'm sure she was like, oh, no, he did it. That's a white house. So, yeah, she wanted to go back and see the house to see if, probably ask why you did it exactly the way I want. You know what I mean? Like, so, and B, see how he is. Like, you know what I mean? And just get an answer to, which she eventually asks when the rain's falling, why didn't you write me? Why we had an agreement. Oh, I didn't have an agreement, which sucks. I thought I thought they had seen each other one more time after the fight, but she relayed the information to the friend, who then relayed it to Noah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she probably just wanted answers, and it's probably, I know it had been burning on him for 7 years that she never replied, but you never really think about on her end. You know what I mean? You just know that the mom's hiding the letters, and then she goes off and you see her happy with somebody else, so you're like, whatever. But I'm sure in scenes that weren't shot that she's thinking about it every night, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, that's just something that's weighing on her mind. So you either got to clear that air. I don't know. Acceptable, probably shouldn't. You should know. You should know when you're going there that you're causing. There's going to be a lot of drama. You're making it very tough on yourself.
Ending your You're probably ruining your engagement. But I just lost my thought. So like, I lost it.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying. Yeah. So yeah, to answer your question.
Oh, that's what I'm impressed with his restraint to not bring up the letters sooner.
Oh yeah.
He didn't bring up the letters at all. He was just like, she didn't write me back, whatever. She shows up, she spends like a day and a half with him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything about the letters at all until the boat ride.
Right. Which, yeah, I mean, he's probably just so upset about that he just doesn't even want to bring it up. Like, he's happy she's there, and it's like, maybe you don't want to bring that up, and just, you know what I mean, that could be another fight, whatever, you just don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But she's asked her question, and he's like, the audacity of this woman to say, why didn't you write me? Another thing, imagine writing somebody every single day for 365 days. Is that excessive? Like, I mean, translated to nowadays, is that the equivalent of sending 25 texts before a response?
It is excessive, but when it's, once again, young love, he probably thought she would want that. And also, it's hard. Like, I used to keep a journal. I still somewhat do passively. I tried to keep a journal for a consistent long amount of time. I could only go for maybe a month before I was just like, all right, I'm tired of writing this much. Like, handwriting is hard every day. Like, how do you even have that many things to say to a person?
Oh, I mean, you're just winging it at that point. You're just saying, like, status updates. It's like what you would have normally MySpaced or Facebooked back in the day. You're just like,
God,
guess who's eating macaroni and cheese tonight? It's me. Also, miss you. Lick envelope, send letter. That's it.
No.
Anyway, so that's pretty much, we got to the end of the movie. She obviously makes the decision to get back with Noah.
Wait, what a swerve that was, because she has a conversation with her fiance, and he's like, no, I still love you. Like, we're going to do this. I'm happy. And she was like, yeah, I still love you too. And then the next scene is her showing up to Noah's house with suitcases.
Yeah, the little
like,
okie doke.
what?
Yeah, okay, first off, before we get to that, I want to say James Marsden, his character.
I feel James Marsden gets second fiddle in every movie he's in.
He was a genuinely good dude in this movie. And I feel like you don't get that with a lot of, like, romance movies, where it's like, usually they try to demonize the one that's getting spurned, so it makes it feel a little easier. But yeah, okay, she wasn't painting anymore, and she, you know what I mean? Like, this was, like, he was exactly what he portrayed to her. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't a bad guy. They were happy, and then she sees him, and it's like in the newspaper, and it's just like all that goes away because it's not what that was. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I feel bad for him.
It's just crazy. Like, I feel bad for Lon, who he was in the movie, and then I feel bad for James Marsden. Like, I almost in every movie, even when he's the lead, I feel like something bad happens to James Marsden.
As the
like,
hopeless.
he's just the walking mat, or you know what I mean? He's just getting stepped on in all of these movies.
Yeah. So right. He got swerved. Right. So then she comes back to the house, and the look. Yeah, you see her get out of the car, fumbling the bags and stuff like that. But she looks up at Noah, and Noah looks, and I wrote this down, Noah looks like he was prepared to lay in his own filth for the rest of his life. Like, he was just, like, he had been laying in his bed just deteriorating. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to go through that twice, and after 7 years, get a resolution to why You know what I mean? Like, everything was going down. I don't know. She's back. She thought she was supposed to get the letters. She didn't. You're like, he immediately knows, like, okay, obviously somebody was holding the letters. Yeah. And then she goes away again, and you're just like, bro, I got this house. I'm just going to die here. Like, that's what he looked like.
Yeah. And back to the reason why he looked like that, we almost glossed over it. They do finally get their night together that they never had. Something to me that was really troublesome was the next morning when Martha shows up, who Noah's been with for, I don't know, let's say a year.
Side piece, the widowed side piece. Yeah.
Yeah. And Noah does the right thing of trying to send her away, saying, like, look, you can't be here. The woman I love is here.
Yeah.
Allie does the most scary thing that a person could do and says, no, Martha, come on in. And Martha agrees. I don't know what was up with Martha. The whole, I need to meet her.
Well,
everything there was just scary.
I'm trying to put myself in her shoes, and to I guess she was with. Obviously, she had a relationship. She was in love, and he passed away. She was widowed, and she was getting something from Noah, but it was obviously just. I mean, it was sweet, passionate love in the bedroom. But it wasn't sweet, passionate love outside of the bedroom. You know what I mean? He wasn't. Yes. He was not. It was not a real relationship. It was just booty. You know what I mean? It was just booty all day. But
yes,
I mean, he probably was talking about her all the time. You know what I mean? Like she understood. She could see it, and she says the line where it's like, you can tell, you know, you're looking at me, but you're seeing somebody else.
Yeah.
So she just wanted to know who, and I don't think it was malicious. She was just like,
it's not, but it's scary.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, imagine. I mean, nowadays in the 40s, who knows? You're like, okay, yeah, I got two women. You know, they're in here, but he sat there the whole day. Like, they hung out the whole day. It's like it's morning, and then all of a sudden it's night. So the fact
that did not turn into a fight or anything like that. That's
unrealistic.
Like, there's just
that's the most unrealistic thing.
Yes, 100%. That, and what also was the fact that Allie, after that whole day, watches Martha kiss Noah, and then is just completely okay with it. Like, I'm
sure there was a conversation that was had that was like, what was that? And you're like, she's gone.
Man, all I know is all of those things are like combustible materials, and so many fuses and matches went off, and nothing exploded, and I was waiting.
Yeah. Yeah,
like, I was waiting, and it just ended really, really well, and I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I was thinking the same thing. That was really uncomfortable and unrealistic, to be quite honest. But again, I see where Martha was coming from, and that was her kind of bowing out. You know, like, okay,
yes.
And then she was like, I'm gonna go find somebody like that. And then one more thing before we get into this draft, I swear we're freaking 40 plus minutes in. We just love talking about love. This is.
I love talking about love.
I'm feeling warm and fuzzies. Yeah. One more thing. The ending scene. I don't know where you watched this. I watched it on HBO Max. It's streaming right now on HBO Max. Where did you watch this?
I started on HBO Max, and then I had issues with that, so I just found it elsewhere.
Found it elsewhere. Okay. Yes. I'll be calling the authorities. No, I'm kidding. So the ending scene of this movie. When I watched it on HBO Max, I was like, wait a minute. That's not the Notebook I remember.
Okay.
So what they did on HBO Max is you get, and I looked it up, and it was originally on Netflix, so this was the Netflix edit, an alternate ending, where they're laying down, Noah and Allie are laying down in the bed, old. And they do the line where it's like, do you think our love can create miracles? And they do, and then they just fall asleep, and then all of a sudden you see geese or like birds flying over the water, and that's the end of the movie. It was kind of like a callback to the if you're a bird, I'm a bird. There's just birds flying, fade out.
I got that same ending. So the nurse comes in, the nurse checks their pulses. They're both dead, and then
wait. That's the ending you watched?
That's the ending I got also. Yes.
No, that's not. I'm telling you, that's not what I got. I'm saying you saw the OG real ending.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Netflix and HBO Max are using one that eliminates them. The original ending is, like you said, what you saw. The nurse comes in, and they have passed together.
Yeah.
Their love has taken them away together, and it's beautiful, but just so sad. Just so sad. So to alleviate that, Netflix was like, "We got an alternate ending, bro." They just fall asleep. and there's some birds, and scene. So that's what people are getting right now on HBO Max. So if you don't know that and you've only seen The Notebook and you saw that ending on Netflix or HBO Max or whatever streaming service, that's not the original ending. You should look up the original ending. It's much more tragic.
So, okay, I mean, the
Tragic
original
or
ending
beautiful?
only I would say beautiful.
Right.
It only added like another 30 seconds to it, but like, yeah, it was really just the nurse coming in and realizing they had both passed, because throughout the movie, Noah has his heart issues.
And she went through that like traumatic experience, a few days before, and it's like she was not doing well. So, yeah,
they both weren't doing well. So it was just both their times together, and love helped them out. So in yours, they just went to sleep, and then the geese.
Then it just fades to the geese flying, and then there's music, and then you're just left to believe. You're just left to believe that they're just You can assume, did they pass? I don't know. Maybe they take a nap. I don't know. Maybe they'll wake up.
It's interesting because I had a conversation with my wife, and I said, like, I felt that Titanic was a sadder movie than this. And we just had a small disagreement because she thinks the overall story is sadder because of the sundowning, the dementia, and all this stuff. And Noah has to, and I said, I mean, for that, then 50 First Dates is a sad movie too. But like, I felt like watching this movie overall, I felt happier watching this than Titanic. That overall made me feel sadder.
I don't know, man. It's hard to say there's much more sad than that scene where he finally gets her back and they're talking, and when they're older, and they're dancing, and it's like a beautiful, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then it turns, and to see old Noah just sitting on the bed crying, and like that. You just don't like seeing old people cry. Like, no. I just don't want to see that. That's so sad.
And the thing is, like, in my line of work, I work with dementia a lot.
Right.
And from my perspective, it's pretty sad, like, seeing someone who every 5 minutes asks you the same question.
Right.
But I never see it from the perspective of the family or the loved one, because in my line of work, when I work with them, they at least remember family. Like, family is what calms them down. The loved one's what calms them down. I've never seen it in a case where they don't remember their loved one.
Yeah.
And that is a whole nother side. And yes, that makes this movie much sadder. But like, it was your choice. You did this.
Yeah, I did this
That's
to
what
us.
I'm going to say.
That's what I said. To call back the beginning of the podcast, I said I did choose it, but I did after I watched it. I text Tyler and I was like, dude, why would you pick this movie? Why would you do this to us? And I blamed him for it. I still think this. I think it's a great movie. I think the ending thing is really strange. When I saw that on HBO Max, I was like, whoa, that's not what I remember seeing. I was bracing myself, you know what I mean, for that last little clip, and it was weird. So people who might not know that, that's it. So let's just get into this draft. We'll do this quickly and get out of here. Because for props wise, I mean, obviously there's meaningful pieces, but we pretty much nailed this movie, I think, and we talked about it ad nauseum. So here we go. All right, it's draft time, and like you said, I did pick this movie, even though I tried to deflect and say that you did. But yeah, I picked this movie, so I will be getting the first selection of props. And I think in just the spirit of all of our drafts, I mean, it's kind of the name of the movie. I really can't shy away from the actual Notebook. Okay, the Notebook that old Noah is reading to Allie every day, you know what I mean? Just coming in and just reading it over and over again. And then you realize at the end, she wrote that.
Yes,
that was like another thing that I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yes. So, like, I had the Notebook, but I had always had it low on my list because I was like, all right, it's a notebook. But the minute he flips to the first page and you see the inscription from Allie, it says written by Allie, and it says, when you read this to me, I'll come back to you.
Oh, my God.
Immediately shot to the top.
Yeah, you're
my
like,
list.
jeez.
Immediately.
Oh, my God. Yeah, like I get him writing it. So, you know what I mean? He can just like recite it and be like, okay, here's how everything went down. The fact that she was aware, and you know what I mean? Obviously, she's aware it's happening to her, so she's like, let me just go down and just write this so you know, when the time comes. I don't know. It's super heavy. Obviously, it's the whole point of the story. I mean, he's reading it to her throughout the entire film, and I'm taking the Notebook number one, so it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no problem. So number 2, something to me that also meant a lot to the movie. They actually open up the movie with it, which I was surprised about. Was the rowboat. You get a lot of rowboats in this.
Yeah.
I want the rowboat. The rowboat meant a lot to me. So like they open up with a scene of like just a guy rowing, and then later on you get them like arguably the most memorable scene of this entire movie right after the rowboat in the rain. And yeah, that just
it's
I
good.
just
That's
had
a
lot
clean
attached
boat.
to it.
That's a super clean
It
boat.
was.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful vessel.
Those oars were long.
Yeah.
I have never seen oars that big on a boat.
Well, you're not boating the right way, bro. You got to do it the right way. But now you will be. You can obviously either display it or you can just throw it out in the water and go to town. I mean, that's it. You can go find a flock of birds and just row right over them. You know, like they do in this film.
I like it.
That's a good pick, though. The rowboat's solid. Okay, so coming back to me, ooh, baby, this is tough. So I don't know. I have the Notebook. I'm going to go a different. Oh God, no, this is tough.
I love this.
I know,
love seeing you like this.
I'm flustered because it's like I know that there's a steep drop off. There really wasn't a lot of like props, really. I mean, I don't know. We're picking 3 apiece, so it's like I know I'm going to give you a gem.
You are. I feel strong about this.
I think I'm going to take what to me is one of the most pivotal objects in the film because of what it does to the plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to take another piece of paper. I took the Notebook. Yeah. I'm going to take the newspaper with Noah's photo on the front.
That's a very good pick.
I love how he got below the crease, though. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get front page A? Where are they at? You know what I mean? They must be somewhere close for that to be front page news. She had been in and out of the town because Noah had seen her at dinner with with the fiance. Okay, so they were probably like
at least near
dress shopping in the general area.
Yes.
So okay, so I'm gonna take that newspaper because it honestly
that was gonna be my
pivotal.
next pick.
It's pivotal.
That was easily gonna be my next pick, especially since it had Ryan Gosling on the front of it. So that's a very good pick.
For sure.
So I guess I'll pick another pivotal stack, I should say.
This is what I was worried about.
I'd like the stack of letters, 365 letters, one a day for a year. I want every single one because his mom not only kept them, she kept them bound. Yeah, like why? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I'd like to think she kept the stack because I thought that was my initial thought is what are you doing with these? Like that should have been like, oh, another day, another letter to the trash. You know what I mean? Because if she found it, she knew what it was going to do to her. She was going to come. Yeah. She was going to go. She was going to read it and go and be gone. But yeah, the fact that she bundled it up, I think it's more of a testament to like we find out she went through it and she's like maybe at some point these are going to be a bridge, like a I don't know, a branch to connect back with my daughter and be like, look, I'm sorry. Here's you know what I mean? Like exactly how she used it, you know?
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't read them.
Oh, I know, right? Little Snoopy. She should have been the type. She was the type of mom that would have been like, what's this guy talking about?
Once we get to the end of the movie, she felt a bit more caring to me than they let on.
For sure. But it's just her being so cold at the beginning. Yes. It's hard to recover from that, especially 7 years go by. And it's all your fault that they didn't find each other. And it's her fault that Lon gets shafted. It's 100% the mom's fault. So anyway, that's a good pick. Stack of letters. That's what I was going back and forth with. They were both. I know they were both major pieces, and I wasn't going to get both. So good pick, begrudgingly.
Thank you very
much.
Pick. I appreciate it.
All right, let me cross off letter bundle. So then, I'll get this one's easy. This one's easy. Because this is no brainer for me.
I'm a little upset because I think I know where you're going and I kind of wanted.
I don't think you have this on your list.
Oh,
maybe you do. Maybe you do.
That makes it better for me.
No, maybe you do. If you do, I don't know. We're gonna have to have a brewski, and by a brewski I mean I'm gonna go get a root beer, and we can just hang out and just talk.
I'll get a ginger ale.
If we're on the same page here with this, I'm gonna be amazed. So. It's early in the movie, right? It's a beautiful scene. So they go to the movie theater, right? They go to the movie theater. They come out, and all of a sudden the town's completely empty, right?
Yeah.
And they're just walking around, and they lay down in the street.
Yeah.
I want the street light hanging above the road.
Doyle. So before this movie came, like before we sat down and watched the movie, I was like, what could be like props from this? I swear to you, the street light above where they laid down was one of the things that crossed over my mind. I was like, that would be actually a nice thing to have, is the street light.
I know.
Yeah.
I in my head I'm like, is it a functioning streetlight that's just there? And I think there's no way it's not a set piece, because the camera angle they use, right? There's multiple shots during that scene where they're laying in the street and dancing. They go back and they dance in the street, where they put the camera right next to the streetlight to just show we're at a freaking intersection here. Like this is so. And again, streetlights awesome to display. Like that's going to be something really cool. I'm a big fan of streetlights. I've never actually owned one or had any of those. Like even like at Spencer's you could buy, the little like plug-in streetlight. I think that's a no-brainer. It's a big moment in the film. It's like they're actually like she's stepping out of her comfort zone to just do something she would never even think about doing, because she comes from, hit the books straight and narrow. You're going to college. Like this is crazy, wacky, zany stuff she's doing, and I thought that was a cool scene. So I want the streetlight.
I like that a lot. That's also a very good pick and an underrated pick. I feel like someone more intelligent than us could tell us all the metaphors that streetlight means, but we're not there.
We're not worthy.
No.
All right, your last pick. What? So
my last
I didn't
pick,
make a dent though, right? This wasn't at the top.
No. I actually have like 3 more things.
Oh, well then it's your problem now.
Yeah. Well, no, I feel confident in this last one because of my 3 things. So one thing was a symbol of freedom. One thing was just kind of an object, and another thing was something that I think had a major representation of who someone was as a person. So my pick is going to be the piano from Noah's house.
Ooh, baby. That's good.
Yes,
that's good.
Yes, sir. So when they go in and they go into the broke down house for the first time, there's a piano, and Allie starts playing it. And then later on, when Allie comes back to visit, and Noah lets her know that they're eating dinner in the room that they almost had their first night together in, he glances over and she sees the piano, and she makes like this embarrassed, I guess, kind of look.
Yeah.
Like, sort of like, oh God, I can't believe we're actually here right now. So that again, and then later on, Allie plays a piano, not the same piano, but she plays a piano, showing that even through her dementia, she remembers.
Right. So
playing the piano,
that was their piano, obviously in their house for decades, right? So then,
Yes.
that's probably where she tickled the old ivories back in the day, and that which anytime I can say tickle the old ivories, I had to do it. So
does that come up a lot, Doyle?
yes, I wedge pianos into the conversation just so I could say tickle the ivories.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, maybe like rubbing on an elephant tusk.
Oh,
something like
no!
that.
If I ever get to do that, I'm gonna tickle the hell out of those. Yeah, the tusks. I'm like, look at me tickling the ivories, like I'm a little like leprechaun or something.
I was gonna say, why did you go Irish?
They're
with
magically
that one?
delicious. No.
Oh my goodness!
Anyway,
do you have any honorable mentions, man?
I do. Initially, right out the gate, you're struggling. I came into this movie and I was like, I don't think there's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff, so let me just go to town and just hammer everything I see. But this actually came out. It was pretty prominent. Noah's little like tweed cap, his little cap was in the movie a lot.
Number 3 is Noah's green hat.
Right,
is my number 3 pick.
It's his work hat. It's his leisure hat. It's like he wore it throughout the movie.
She wore it when they were bicycling through the trees. She was wearing his hat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That hat got a lot of screen time. It was very important, especially in this film. So that I almost did what the classic Tyler move and picked a vehicle. I did not though. I was gonna pick Noah's truck.
I almost did.
I knew it. I knew you had a car. You had some sort of vehicle on the list.
I mean, the rowboat. I felt like the rowboat still filled my vehicle void.
Yes, the transportation. So. So Noah's truck. I looked it up. A 1935 GMC QB. That's what I would have picked. Obviously, there was much nicer vehicles in this from Allie's side of the family. The mom's convertible, every vehicle pretty much that they were in was like, that's a sick car. But if I'm picking from a purely like pertaining to the Notebook movie, I want that truck because it's Noah's and he had it throughout the movie, like the entirety.
And he almost taught her how to drive in it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't the truck didn't explode back then.
Yeah,
with all that going on. So yeah, you took the piano. I can cross that off. And then one more thing I added just to give it. What am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wanted to hit 8. So I was like, let me go back, rack my brain. And I wrote down Allie's naked porch painting.
Doyle, Now, I didn't want the painting that she gave the dad, because I was all right, that's the night. But then when she's finally like, I wish, like, I want to start painting again, and he surprises her with this stuff. Why was she painting Nate? That's solely the reason I put it on my list.
You got a lot of land, all right? You got a lot of land.
Anyone could come by and see her. They know who she is. They know that she's engaged. She is sitting on this porch naked, painting.
She's a free spirit. At that point, she had just done the dirty. You know what I mean? She just basically cheated on her fiance, and she was just like, whatever. Her mom shows up, and she shows up at the door naked with a blanket.
Oh my god!
So yeah, that's her thing. That's the Allie. That's the Allie
there
special.
There was no shame.
But I went back and looked at the photo. I zoomed in, not the photo, the painting. And it was really, she was just painting the trees. Like, she was painting the trees probably right off the porch. But those, like, I don't know what it is, a banyan, maybe, something like that. Whatever those southern Georgia, South Carolina trees are. I don't know what they are.
It was a scenic painting.
Yeah.
But I did have that. I had that as well.
Nice. All right.
So, yeah, we pretty much had everything. I had the rowboat, the notebook, Noah's green hat, stack of letters, the newspaper, the piano, and Allie's naked painting. Like,
I literally wrote it down.
I wrote down naked painting.
You have to. You're like, okay, that's it's part of the film. You're like, what's going on here? Real quick, I wrote down some quotes that I think are iconic from this film that I had just said, throughout whenever I feel it. This one was pretty powerful. You tell me what you want, and I'll be that for you. That's a heavy one.
I like
there.
that.
That's it. But it's a little, you know what I mean, a little disingenuous to yourself, though. Disingenuine. I just feel like that's. You gotta be yourself. Yeah, be yourself. Yeah. Don't throw yourself at it. But if you're a bird, I'm a bird. I don't know why that just got said a lot by me. Mm-hmm. Just I don't know what it was.
Does it? You say that often?
Not now. I will again. But after this movie came out, I had seen it with. I don't even think a girl. It just had been. I don't know why that was just in my head all the time. So I'm like, if you're a bird, I'm a bird. I don't know. It just got said. I don't know. And then I wrote you every day for a year. The passion and anger in that line made it iconic. But yeah, that's crazy. 365 days in a row of writing letters.
That entire rain conversation could just be like just spoken and quoted.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's
thing
not like on a shirt or something where it's like the dialogue's just written out back and forth.
I will have to say that after watching this movie, I had to go back and watch the MTV Movie Awards from this year when Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams redid their kiss. They won Best Kiss that year.
Yeah.
And they reenacted it on the MTV Movie Awards, and
beautiful.
It was beautiful.
I was gonna say I don't have it pulled up, but I was looking at the movie, the Wikipedia, all the awards and stuff that they did. It cleaned house at the Teen Choice Awards. At the Teen Choice Awards. I don't know. I thought that was funny. It really just took the cake there at the Teen Choice Awards. But anyway, Valentine's Day, baby. This is what it's all about. Sadness
Doyle,
and love.
I've got something for you.
No, stop it.
Here you go,
stop
buddy.
it. Oh man, you shouldn't have. For those of you listening
on
the podcast, he just gave me a little heart on a stick. What is that? Is that what that is? That's adorable.
Yeah, heart on the stick.
I don't really have anything for you, but
I don't give gifts to receive gifts, Doyle.
No, you do. You're the type. No, I'm kidding. He's really not. By the way, real quick, he sent me a belated Christmas gift, and it showed up at my door, and it was literally. I swear to God. I thought about buying you the exact same thing, and this is a callback to one of our previous episodes, our holiday episode. Jingle All the Way. He got me a Turbo Man pop. And I promise you, ask my wife. I saw it on Amazon, and I was like, I should get his address and just send it to him. It'd be great. I should just send it. And I literally put it in my cart, and I did not revisit it. And that's 100% on me. I'm so mad I didn't. Because
don't be.
No, I'm mad because like we were thinking the same thing. We saw it, and we thought the exact same thing. And you did it though. You're a better man than I. But it's just
I saw it. I immediately was like, I need to get this for Doyle, and I'm not gonna give any lead up or anything.
That's what I was gonna do.
I wanted your pure reaction. I wanted your pure reaction on. I didn't even want to tell you it came out. I didn't want you to know it existed.
I knew it existed, and I was already thinking about giving it to you. So it was when I saw the box shape, I was like, Kristen, I know exactly what this is. It had your name on it. I didn't have to. It was the easiest guess of my life. I was like, this is Turbo Man pop figure. Opened it up, and it was just the funniest thing.
I didn't even have to fight Sinbad for it. It was so easy.
No, it's super easy. Yeah, the internet is that movie wouldn't have held up. But anyway, if you want to know what we're talking about, go back. Well, watch Jingle All the Way, and then go back. You can listen to the episodes. But thank you so much for listening, Tyler. This is the most we've ever talked about a movie, I think.
I can't believe it came. I'm sorry. I came into this movie with the least notes I've ever written. I thought this was going to be a 35-minute episode in and out. And then our hearts just started spilling out all over the place.
Look at us, this is
absolutely ridiculous.
Hopeless romantics out here.
With the lineup of movies we have, and this movie has the most time.
It's definitely our latest draft. Like we were just, like we were just very, very deep into this podcast.
I got into it. Like I don't let on. I'm very much a deep romantic, and I did not think it was going to come out on this.
Yeah, this movie again. It's a great movie. After watching it, I was like, man, it's obviously it's very romantic. But it's also it was sad, man. It's a sad film, but it's why it's really good because it makes you feel more than one emotion. And I think I feel all the emotions.
Yeah,
it's all of them. It's all again back to the calm. It's not a whole bunch of calm, but there's some funny lines. There's a little bit of calm
in
there. So it's
some calm.
It ticks pretty much all the boxes. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, Tyler. I'm excited to come back. And you're picking the next movie, but we don't have to spoil it now. It'll
oh no!
But I'm sure it won't be anything like this. I'm
excited
to get back.
You.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to just sci-fi stuff or like you know what I mean, just the weird stuff. But I'm not saying put us there. I'm saying it's coming.
I can't make any promises. I'm a wild card. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm a wild card too, man. I did dodgeball in the Notebook. We're all over the place. What the hell's going on? People are like trying to keep up with our podcast, and it's just we're all over the place. But if you want to hear two grown men talk about perhaps the greatest love story of all time, you just did it. That was it. You made it. Anyway, at Movie Propcast on Instagram. The Movie Propcast on YouTube. Please follow along over there. Give us with a follow and a subscribe. That'd be great. And if you could subscribe and rate and possibly review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Okay, that's enough shilling. We're gonna get out of here. And it's been fun. What?
It's Valentine's Day. What are you gonna say to the people?
Oh. I mean, I think we're both got to say it this time. I mean, let's be honest.
We both have to say it.
All right, love you guys.
Right. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
This is real. All right, we're out of here.